All right, so it's a brand new month. Today is the 3rd of November 2025. The year is gradually running to an end. We have just 2 full months to go for the year 2025, just this month and next month, and then 2025 will be over and we'll be looking at 2026. So we'll first check out the fundamental events for this week, then we'll go on the chart to see what the technical is saying. Now, because of time, I'll just keep to the key events so that we just know how to plan ahead for the week. Today being Monday, there will be bank holiday in Japan, so take note of the JPY And today by 8:30 a.m., there will be CPI from Switzerland. Now, the CHF is expected to react to this. And 4 p.m. today, there'll be ISM manufacturing PMI and ISM manufacturing prices. The dollar will definitely react to this event. So watch out for CPI from Switzerland by 8:30 a.m. That is roughly some 1 hour and 15 minutes from now. And on Tuesday, there'll be cash rate, RBA monetary policy statement, RBA rate statement, and RBA conference, all from Australia by 4:30 a.m. Nigerian time on Tuesday. The AUD pairs are generally expected to react to this news event, so watch out for volatility on AUD by tomorrow morning between 4:30 and 5:30 a.m. in the morning. Other important event for Tuesday will be the JOLT job opening, though it is tentative for now, but with time, we might get a specific time for it. And later on Tuesday by 10:45 p.m., there'll be employment change and unemployment rate from New Zealand. So the NZD pairs are expected to react to this. This is the employment data, which is usually a volatile one. So watch out on Tuesday for news from Australia by 4:30 a.m. USD JOLTS job opening is still tentative, but then the employment change and unemployment rate from New Zealand will come up by 10:45 p.m. Tomorrow, Tuesday. And on Wednesday, 2:15 p.m., there'll be ADP non-farm employment change from the United States. And 4 p.m. on Wednesday, there'll be ISM services PMI. Both are expected to impact upon the dollar because they are all high impact events. And on Thursday, the important event on Thursday, 1 p.m., the Bank of England Monetary Policy Report, Monetary Policy Summary, MPC official bank rate votes, and official bank rate. So the British pound is expected to react massively in the market on Thursday by 1 p.m. with all these news events. And also by 1:30 p.m. that same Thursday, the Bank of England Governor Bailey's speech, which will also impact upon the markets. On Thursday, unemployment claims from US is still tentative. No specific time is given yet, but you never can tell. As the week progresses, we might get a specific timing for it. And Thursday, 9:30 p.m. Nigerian time, FOMC member Waller will give a speech. Even though it's not really, the market is expected to be quiet that period, there could still be some volatility on the US dollar. And the biggest one is Friday. Friday, first Friday of the month, there'll be employment change, unemployment rate from Canada by 2:30 p.m. Now, for the United States, there'll be average hourly earnings, core PCA price index, non-farm employment change, and unemployment rate. Now, all this will happen on Friday, but as at this moment, it's still tentative. If you remember last month, NFP for the first time did not hold because the US government is on a shutdown. Now, nothing is being said about the shutdown for now. If you remember last month, even on Forex Factory, there's a column that shows us this green bar indicating the US government is on shutdown. We can't find that bar anymore, but at the moment, this event is still tentative. So let's just watch out as the week progresses to know if it's going to hold or not. But with them, we will definitely let you know as we go ahead in the week. All right, that's just the summary of the expectations. For the important events we're looking forward to trade, as the week progresses. But I'm going to take off straight to the charts to look at the technicals and how to plan ahead for this week with what we are seeing technically on the chart. So I'm switching over now to my MetaTrader platform. Now, because it's the beginning of a new week, the month is really starting the beginning of a new week and also a new month. The chart on the chart, we are seeing more of medium to kind of a long term opportunities in the market. So virtually all the most of the pairs I'll be showing you are going to be swing, because that is what the market is saying. But they can always take the swing as at the direction and look out for opportunities in your own comfort zone in terms of time frame for entry. So the first I'll be looking at will be the GBP-CHF, the British pound and the Switzerland franc, GBP-CHF. I'm just trying to scroll through. Okay. All right. So this is the GBP-CHF. On the daily time frame, or better still from the weekly time frame, price closed last month on this support zone with a rejection candle right there. Let me zoom out so that you can see it clearer. You can see the week closed rather, which is still for the month though, closed with a rejection candle. So technically, we are going to look for a bullish movement on the GBP CHF, this week. So price hit support, rejection candle, and also we can clearly see a falling wedge pattern. These are all indicative of a potential bullish movement on the GBP CHF this week. Now, this current zone where price is at the moment is a zone of interest, a key level where we have a support turned resistance. Now, technically, I am anticipating that we could have some retracement, with price hitting this support turned resistance. We may have a retracement where price could touch the trend line before we now have the final bullish breakout. So I'm expecting a retracement before the final bull. Now, RSI is already clearly above 50, telling us, indicating we're, very close, or rather, we are on the bullish zone, though it's not yet ripe for entry. And a further confirmation of this particular one would be the MACD above zero. And let's check out our MACD for now. MACD is really getting close to the zero level. So if MACD makes a cross above, RSI is already above 50. We expect a retracement and a further breakout. Then we'll see price take on massively in the bullish direction. So we are bullish on the GBP CHF for this week. It's a 4-hour swing setup. So a retest and a breakout. So watch out for this instrument in the course of this week. And being a swing setup, the potential for movement, let's check out that. Price could go as high as about 50 pips to Fibonacci 50, about, let's just say 85 pips to Fibonacci is 1.8, and as much as about 134 pips, or let's say 130 pips to Fibonacci 78.6. So between 50 to 150 pips, 130 pips rather, is really possible on this instrument in the course of this week. So let's watch out for that. We are bullish on the GBP CHF. Likewise, we are also bullish on the GBP AUD. We're bullish on the GBP AUD likewise. Now, don't forget, for the GBP AUD, tomorrow there's going to be news from Australia. So that might impact upon the movement. The outcome of the data might impact really on the movement of the GBP AUD. For the GBP AUD, we have price closing last week on a previous resistance turn support zone. This is the weekly time frame. There is, let's take it to the daily for clarity. All right, so you can see there's a rejection candle here giving a resistance, turn support, price ranging around that area. Technically, we're expecting a reversal, and we can still take it a step further by drawing a trend line right here. So we have a confluence here, price making higher lows, higher low. The third higher low coincides with the resistance turn support. So that gives us a confluence at that point where we expect a reversal into the bullish direction. Or not really reversal, it's a continuation anyway, because it shows we are in an uptrend. So we're expecting a bullish movement on GBP AUD for this week. That's on the weekly time frame and the daily. Now on the 4-hour time frame, now we can see there is a kind of a range here. Technically, this should be like a kind of a double bottom pattern, and we expect a breakout. So we're looking to take a bullish break trade once price breaks out above the neckline region. So we have a confluence on the weekly time frame where trend line and resistance on support meet, and on the 4-hour, we're seeing the formation of a double bottom pattern. Now, if all this works out as planned, we're expecting a breakout, and we can go long on GBP AUD. Like I said, there's news from Australia tomorrow night. The CPI. Let me confirm the exact data again. Okay, that'll be the cash rate, the interest rate report could be a major trigger. If the data comes out good for the AUD, that will really see to the massive breakout of this particular instrument. And all things being equal, we're expecting price to go as high as about 50 pips of Fibonacci 23.6, about 180 pips of Fibonacci 38.2, about 280 pips to Fibonacci 50, and as high as about 300 and 80 pips are also to about Fibonacci 7.8. But generally, we're just bullish. That's the most important thing. We're bullish on the GBP AUD. So watch out for this in the course of the week. Again, this is a swing setup. Like I said, I'm only giving direction. You might need to make entry on whatever time frame is convenient for you, based on your trading strategy. So we're bullish on the GBP AUD on the 4-hour time frame. For those that are just joining us, we're equally bullish on the GBP CHF. So the £2 instruments you're looking at, we're bullish on both of them for this week. Now we'll go to the JPY pairs, and I'll be looking at the CAD JPY and the Euro JPY, the Japanese yen pairs. All right, so this is the CAD JPY. The market closed last week at a resistance level on the weekly time frame. So we can see we have a valid resistance zone up there on the weekly time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we're having the formation of a rising wedge pattern. So we'll be expecting a breakout of price to the downside in the course of this week. Now, currently it looks like price is trying to, go back up within that zone, possibly to form a double top. It's a 50-50, it may not. We don't get on patterns in the recent, but at least what we're looking out for is a breakout below the lower trend line. Once that happens, we're good to trigger a sell on the CAD JPY, pardon me. And our confirmation will be RSI below 50. So we're bearish on the CAD JPY for this week. We also have a bearish outlook on the Euro JPY. Now for the Euro JPY, price has been making an uptrend on the weekly time frame and also a resistance. There's also okay, this is a monthly time frame, pardon me. Yeah, the resistance is actually a psychological level. That's a 178.0000. Good. So this point, you can see price is making higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high the fourth time. But then the fourth higher high is also a confluence because at that specific point, price also hit a psychological level, which is acting as a resistance. So technically, we're expecting a downtrend. This actually from the monthly time frame. And the same thing should still be reflected on the weekly, daily, 4 hour. All right, so this is a 4 hour side to this setup. And on the 4 hour time frame, we have a rising wedge pattern. So we're going to be expecting a breakout of price to the downside. Let me take it a step further. Let me check if there's anything on 1 hour for intraday. All right, so on the 1 hour time frame, I'm seeing a formation like a head and shoulder pattern. If this works out and price breaks out, that can give an earlier entry compared to the 4 hour. So if you're there, you're a day trader, you may watch out for this 1 hour breakout on the Euro JPY. But if swing is a comfort zone, you can wait for the 4 hour setup. But either ways, either 1 hour, 4 hour, we're expecting a breakout to the downside on the Euro JPY. Now, if it breaks out to the downside on the 1 hour time frame, we'll be looking at our entry once price has broken out below the trend line as shown. RSI is currently at 54. By then, we expect it to drop downwards. But MACD is already below zero. That tells you it's really getting to the bearish zone. So watch out in the course of today for a bearish breakout on Euro JPY on the 1 hour time frame if you're a day trader and that works for you. And if you're a swing trader, you might have to exercise some additional patience for price to break out to the downside with the RSI also below 50. So we're bearish on both the CAD JPY and the Euro JPY for this week. Now I have the Euro AUD. Okay, I've given GBP CHF bullish, GBP AUD bullish. I'm also having a bullish setup on the Euro AUD card. Okay, I think I'll just focus on the AUD card for this one. Now for the AUD card, I'm seeing a very kind of a long-term setup, evolving on this pattern, on this instrument rather. On the weekly time frame, we see price is trending, making higher lows, higher low, and we have a third higher low. Now, the significant thing about the third higher low is the fact that if you take it down to the daily time frame, it's giving us a formation of what looks a lot like a head and shoulder pattern. And if this works out as we're seeing, we may get a breakout to the downside. The third thing here is that we also have a rising wedge. Everything pointing towards a bearish movement on this instrument. The higher lows, the rising wedge, and the possible formation of the head and shoulder pattern. Now, if price is able to break out below the neckline region, we might be experiencing a massive kind of, long-term bearish movement on the AUD card. Final confirmation also will be the RSI clearly below 50. And this can span for weeks. If I might even span till the remaining days of the year or the next couple of weeks or 3 weeks. It all depends on market movement. Now, using Fibonacci, we might be expecting price to crash to the tune of about 120 pips of Fibonacci 38.2, about 200 pips of Fibonacci 50, and about 300 pips of Fibonacci 1.8. So just get set and let's keep watching this instrument as the month, as we progress into the month for a breakout. If this pattern works out with the head and shoulder, I can tell you we're going to be getting ready for a nice time. Now, are we going to enter on daily time frame? Of course, no. It's to give us the daily time frame is to give us direction. If you have not watched some of our videos on multiple time frame analysis, just go to our YouTube channel and click and watch some of these videos. It's what we do is we analyze on the higher time frame and we look for entry on the smaller one. So when you see a setup forming on the higher time frame, it's an indication that price is about to go in that direction, for a period which you can just use the smaller time frame to make your entry to catch as much pips as possible. So I'm having a bearish outlook on the AUD card, and this will become even much more in effect if the data from Australia tomorrow comes out bad for the AUD. And finally, I'll be looking at the US oil, and this is equally still on the daily time frame too. And we'll be looking out for, okay, I think we can see this one, we can make entry on 4 hour as a swing. But then let me go to the daily to show you my outlook. Now for the US oil, okay, I'll remove this trend line. It's not doing anything there. All right, so for the US oil, price closed last week on a support zone on the weekly time frame. Not only that, it also closed as a bullish engulfing candlestick pattern. Then we also have a falling wedge. So technically, we're looking for a breakout to the upside. The daily time frame, on the daily time frame, we are seeing the formation of an inverse head and shoulder pattern. It's almost complete. If price breaks above the neckline, then we'll see price triggered to the bullish side. And if we go to 4 hour, entry can be made on the 4 hour time frame. And that's it again. We have the inverse head and shoulder, price approaching the neckline. Once the new candle breaks out above the neckline, you're free to trigger a buy on the US oil. RSI is clearly above 50. MACD is clearly above 0. So we're only waiting for a new candle above the neckline region to trigger a buy on the US oil. So if you're there, you're a swing trader, that's going to be a sweet one to trade for this week and even possibly this month. If you're there, you're intraday trader, I would suggest you wait for a breakout first, then look out for a retest, and you can make your entry possibly on 1 hour or any lower time frame of your choice. All right, that will be all from my end this morning. I'll do a quick recap, then we'll go into question session. Now, for those who are just joining us, we've looked at the GBP CHF for this week, and we're bullish. We're bullish on the GBP CHF. We're bullish on the GBP AUD. We're bearish on CAD JPY, bearish on Euro JPY, all on 4 hour. Though the Euro JPY we can look at for 1 hour entry. That's the, an intraday setup also. It's both swing and intraday. Then on the AUD card, we are bearish on the daily time frame for that. That's more of a long-term kind of setup. And the US oil, we are bullish on the 4 hour time frame. All right, so please watch out for this setup and let's see how it evolves as we go on in the week. So if you have any question, you can go ahead and post in the comment section. Any instrument you want me to analyze, I will surely do that as we begin to round up. All right. In the absence of any question, then we'll need to end this session. Don't forget by 12:30 p.m. we will be having the afternoon analysis session. If there's any specific signal at that point, or even before then, we'll definitely let you know about it. All right. So do take care and have a great week ahead. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.